Welcome to another edition of Talkline. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the Kerem B'Yavneh Yeshiva dinner in New York City. Kerem B'Yavneh has been over 60 years on the Israeli scene, educating not only Israelis, but many students from around the world, including a growing number from the United States. We'll be right back with our very special broadcast about this wonderful Israeli institution right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Ow! Can you read my number?
Attention those on Medicare with diabetes. You may be eligible for an upgraded meter.
I am tired of stabbing my fingertips to test my blood glucose. There has got to be a better way.
If you're on Medicare with diabetes, then you need to know there's a new method for checking your blood glucose. You don't need to stab your fingertips anymore. This new Embrace meter is easier to use and nearly painless. And the best news is that Diabetes Care Club will send you one of these new meters.
This new method hurts less, and I don't have to stab my fingertips anymore.
Not only can I see my number, I can hear it too.
Your blood glucose reading is 89.
There's my number.
Find out why nearly 250,000 patients have joined Diabetes Care Club.
Call Diabetes Care Club.
Shipping is free, and so is the call.
Call 1-800-934-4326. Call now.
I'm glad I did.
Kosher Expeditions provides unique activity-based tour vacations with delicious glatt kosher cuisine, cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations, including Costa Rica, the Canadian Rockies, Spain, and African safari. Relax at our 7-year-running Passover holiday adventure located at our Kosher LePesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Enjoy breathtaking ocean views surrounded by exotic wildlife on an all-inclusive Pesach vacation that includes inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours, offering all-inclusive travel programs to custom and private groups, students, camps, young adults, and regularly scheduled departures. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER or visit them online at kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
We pledge to preserve their memory. For over 50 years, Yad Vashem has collected millions of Holocaust victims' names, but many are still missing. The central database of Shoah victims' names is now on the internet. This is a race against time. Visit the site today and submit unrecorded names so they will always be remembered.
My uncles went here, my older brother went here, and there's just so much Masorah here, there's so much history behind this yeshiva, and all there is here is just learning. That's just what they do here.
I didn't know what to expect. I knew it would be good, but I didn't know how good it would be and what the great parts of it would be. Now that I'm here, I can tell you that everything here has been amazing.
From my Brooklyn days, recognized Rabbi Uri Goldstein. He's currently the rabbi of Congregation of Havad Achim in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, but a KBY, a Kerem B'Yavneh alumni. Good to have you.
Thank you, Zev.
So you weren't, how many years were you in KBY?
I was in KBY for 2 years, from 1995 until 1997. There were 2 formative years, I have to say. The learning that took place, the ruach, the friendships that we formed back then, they carry through until this day, and it's a great pleasure to be here honoring a friend of mine who's an honoree, and the Rebbeim, and just generally paying tribute to the yeshiva that really had such a tremendous influence in my life personally.
I was trying to figure out, when did the trend start where American boys, American girls started going to Israel en masse to study in yeshivot after high school?
So I think my father went to study in BMT, Beit Midrash Torah, which I think no longer exists, must be back in the 1960s or 70s, and I think he was one of the few back then. But Kerem B'Yavneh has been having American students since the 60s. The current Rosh Yeshiva of Kerem B'Yavneh, Rav Mordechai Greenberg, was the original Rebbe of Americans in Kerem B'Yavneh. He's Israeli, they were American. There might have been a little bit of a cultural difference, but Kerem B'Yavneh has been a pioneer in that sense. It was one of the first yeshivot, certainly one of the first Israeli yeshivot that had American students students and overseas students, British, Australian, coming to study Torah for a year or more in Eretz Israel.
And I know the experience is wonderful. The kids come back. I guess you came back transformed, right?
Absolutely.
And you're in the rabbinate.
I hope the yeshiva takes credit.
Right. Well, I'm saying it's fun. It's hard today because you don't find as many youngsters going into the rabbinate and to what they call Clay Kodesh, Jewish educational work. I guess the lore of secular society, the computers, everything else draws them. So it's nice to see that the commitment that you're making.
So I won't take credit for it. If you look around the New York, New Jersey area, you'll see a large proportion of congregational rabbis, educators, Rosh Yeshiva, Yeshiva University are all alumni of Kerem B'Yavneh. So you could definitely pay tribute to this yeshiva and give a lot of credit to its formative experience, its formative influence not only on me but on so many of the mechanchim and rabbanim in this area.
Thank you for joining with us.
Thank you, Zev. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Richmond, and this is my wife, Susan. We are absolutely thrilled to be honored this evening by Kerem B'Yavneh. We have been fortunate that two of our sons, Effie and Yitzchak, as well as one of our sons-in-law, Judah Kurtz, learned in Yeshiva Kerem B'Yavneh. During that time, they not only further developed their skill set, but enhanced their love of Am Yisrael, their love of learning, and they maintain wonderful relationships to this day. They also developed wonderful relationships with their Rabbeim as well.
It's been wonderful being able to have Rav Stav in our house for a few Shabbosim, to be honored to host the Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Greenberg, for a meal. And I just want to, as I said before, thank the Yeshiva for all that they have done for our family, and to thank all of our friends and our family for coming out tonight to pay tribute to the Yeshiva on our behalf. Thank you very much to all of you.
Michael and Susan Richmond are being honored this evening as Parents of the Year. They have one student currently, and you had another son already.
Another son that went there several years ago. That
and
now.
One of our sons-in-law as well. One of our sons-in-law as well.
Yes, our older son went there, and now then went to YU, graduated YU, and God willing, will be starting law school in the fall.
As a parent also who's going to have a son going to Kerem B'Yavneh, I can understand that when things are in Israel, it's nice that they're able to take off a year to study, because when I would graduate high school, it wasn't the trend then. Very few kids did that. Today, it's a pleasure to see that it's almost considered part of the educational process of a young man and a young lady, correspondingly for the younger ladies, to go to Israel for a year to study. And Kerem B'Yavneh is certainly up against a lot of American students.
That's very true, and the kids are fortunate that I guess from your kind of stage in life that I didn't get a chance to go spend a year or two in Israel. I think it's a wonderful experience for these for the boys and the girls. We have older daughters who went there and had a wonderful experience, and now the boys are having that, and it gives them a tremendous time to really devote themselves to learning, to the study of Gemara, to both expand their love of learning as well as their skill set as well. So it's really a wonderful experience.
What goes through your mind of being one of the Parents of the Year tonight?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
What goes through your mind being honored as one of the Parents of the Year?
It's a way of our showing our Hakaras Hatov to KBY for all that they have done for both of our sons and for our son-in-law. They had a wonderful experience, and the relationship that they have with their Rebbeim that continues to this day, along with the friends that they made in KBY, it's just wonderful to see, and we've seen they really grew through their experience in Israel, and we're just thrilled to be able to give back a little bit to the yeshiva for all that they've done for our family.
Thank you, and congratulations on Mazel Tov again on being awarded the Parents of the Year award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
But welcome to alumni, friends, parents, rabbanim, and distinguished honorees. Manishtana alayla zeh mikol haleilot. So at the Pesach Seder, we know kol hamarbe harizeh mishubach. Tonight, we all trying to keep it as short as possible. I'll try to do the same. As I wrote in the journal, tonight we are truly celebrating Kabbalah Torah. And how appropriate that our dinner this year is the day after Lag BaOmer, the day Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim stopped dying, which was a result of lack of Kabbalah Torah. And please, You can read in my message about every honoree. I'm not going to repeat it again. How every honoree, in my mind, personifies Kvod Torah. Baruch Hashem, this year in the yeshiva had a very successful year. The Shana Muberet enabled almost all Talmidim to make a Siman and a Sechta. You can read about many of the other yeshiva activities in the newsletter that you received with the journal. In my opinion, the highlight of this man, which you saw in the movie, was our Chag HaSmicha, where over 50 Avreichim received Smicha in the presence of our chief rabbis, Rav Yonah Metzger, the Ashkenazi chief rabbi, who happens to be an alumnus himself, and Rav Amar, the Sephardic rabbi. It was a very impressive event. We are looking very forward to next year's group of Talmidim, together with a large group of Shana Bet Talmidim who will be returning. I would like to mention something very special that we're establishing this evening. Our young alumnus Oradi Shamshi Shlafrak, a dear friend, together with his fellow Chaverim, expressed their interest in doing something special in memory of two of their close friends, our two Talmidim, Eli Steinberg and Dani Liddell Zichron Livracha, who learned with them in yeshiva. After consulting with the parents, they decided to establish the Eli Steinberg and Dani Liddell Achnasat Kala Fund, where the funds raised will serve to help future Chatanim and Kalot. They felt this would be a very suitable way in commemorating the memories of two people who truly personified Torah with Derech Eretz and Menschlichkeit. We daven that this fund brings some nechama to the families. There will be an option to donate to this fund online on our website. So really, to Shamshi and his friends, Yishar Kochachem. I would like...
Barry Katz is the director and Menahel, principal at Yeshiva Kerem B'Yavneh, and good to have you on the program. Thank you for inviting us here tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you can make it, and we're looking very forward to having your son learn by us next year, Mitzvah Hashem.
We're looking forward to that. Now, what's very interesting is that my son looked at various yeshivot, and there's a seriousness of learning that Kerem B'Yavneh displays. When you heard that you bring your bags back and go straight to the study hall, to the basement, he said, "This is the yeshiva for me." So compliments to what you're doing for over 60 years. I understand. Tell us.
We're going to celebrate our 60th year. Mitzvah Hashem in a year and a half. We'll be celebrating our 60th year. Yeah.
Tell us the philosophy, the thoughts behind Kerem B'Yavneh. What makes it so special, and how it's been attracting so many youngsters from America and beyond?
Well, I think first of all, what makes it special, we were the first Hesder Yeshiva. This idea of combining army service with learning Torah, and that's really was the first one. Now today there are over 60 of those types of yeshivas around. We were really the first yeshiva with an overseas program that boys could come and learn for a year or two before college. Then there was, back when it started 50 years ago, the overseas program, they even came in the middle of college. And I think what makes us really unique is the fact that we're away from everything, in the middle of nowhere, like I like to say, which is a good thing, like I heard in the videos today. Less distractions, not in the Yerushalayim, all that's happening there. At the same time, we're not that far from Yerushalayim. When a guy wants to go away for Shabbos, go to Yerushalayim from Friday, it's only a 45-minute bus ride. And I think something else very special Kerem B'Yavneh has done throughout the years is, and maybe you also will see in the videos and the journal that we gave out, it's a very diverse group of students. Students from all over, different types of yeshiva high schools, what we would call the more yeshivish places, and the typical yeshiva high school. And I think that makes for a beautiful environment.
It certainly does. And you mentioned the Hesder Yeshiva, which is, you're balancing out both military, like for the Israeli component, not for the American component with that.
There are some overseas students who also go ahead and do Army, 2 or 3 a year, voluntarily. And that, of course, I also give credit to the parents for allowing them to do that. And when it comes to the overseas students, I think the combination of all of them that come to us, go afterwards, go on to college, go on to university. Most of them go to Yeshiva University. The majority go. The others go to other places as well. And Baruch Hashem, we have alumni that are in several professions. We have, like we heard, over 1,000 alumni over the years that are in totally different professions, and as well as in the rabbinate, in education, but other professions as well. We're very proud of that.
Right. And by the way, what I found impressive, I met and we interviewed some of the alumnus that have been coming for 20-some years to the dinner.
Right.
So there's a bond that exists way beyond beyond the education and the study in Israel.
I think the true friendships are made in yeshiva. The friendship that's based on Torah, the friendship that's based on having someone who was in the yeshiva with you in a serious environment, those friendships last forever. Definitely.
Before I let you go, you're in a very challenging position because today, and I know in America, the youngsters are being pulled, even those that are good students. You have social media, you have the internet, you have cell phones, you go to Israel. On one hand, you want to be immersed in learning a whole day, but on the other hand, you have to balance out the social medias, the internets. How do you do that?
Well, we know that, and we tell the students that, when they're coming to yeshiva, we want them to really utilize every second of their time for their year in Israel. And we try to tell them that, everything else, if it's the internet stuff, things like that, they could do away with that for at least for the time being. Of course, they have email, and that's how they're in contact with their parents. But the internet and the several things like that, if they really need it for something like applications, we let them use it in the office. But otherwise, I think they really understand what our purpose is in keeping them away from all the I would say, like you heard in the video there, the distractions of the media, distractions of everyday life, and therefore they're able to dedicate themselves to a year of learning.
So Kerem B'Yavneh is doing very well, getting a lot of American kids, but there's a seriousness of the students that go that really want to learn, and not just to be there for the sake of being in Israel.
Right, and not only Americans, we're all over. We have kids from England, from Australia, from Brazil, from Belgium, really our universal yeshiva.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The love of Torah evinced by the Rebbeim there, the love of the Jewish people that the yeshiva stands for, and the love of the land of Israel and the state of Israel that the yeshiva is the historical embodiment of, all have profoundly influenced who I am now as a Jew, as a husband, as a rabbi. In fact, my wife Jessica was a student of Rabbi Ari Katz at Bravender's when she was there. And I think that these values, which Rabbi Katz also imparted, have become very much a fabric of the home that we are creating together. The intellectual inquiry and the freedom of thought that went on in the yeshiva among the guys, among the Rebbeim, their independence, is something that also deeply influenced me. And I would highly recommend anybody who is considering Kerem B'Yavneh, if you're motivated, if you're serious, if you're bright, there's no other place to go than Kerem B'Yavneh. It is really the best option, and I would highly recommend it. And even if your yeshiva days perhaps are behind you, there's still ways to connect to the spirit of the yeshiva online, through supporting the yeshiva. It's such a worthy endeavor that I would highly encourage everyone to partake of.
Nice to see so many familiar faces at the Kerem B'Yavneh dinner. Rabbi Ari Rakovsky and Dr. Jessica Rakovsky both being honored tonight, Alumnus Rabbinic Award, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So I met other rabbis. Seems that at KBY, the graduates are so motivated to Judaism, which is nice to see. They're willing to go into the rabbin, which is not as thankless as it used to be, right?
Correct. Thank God. And Kerem B'Yavneh is a place that really instills a love for the Jewish people and Avodas HaKodesh. And really got my start at the yeshiva. So it's really an honor and a privilege to accept this award this evening.
What was your experience like at KBY?
Oh, it was 2 of the best years in my life until I met my wife.
So isn't that a nice statement?
I think it's true.
I know you didn't go to KBY, but Mazel tov, by the way, I know you married a short while, so good to see both of you two being honored tonight. And I also understand, I've spoken to people that they went to KBY and their kids have gone to KBY too, which is nice to see. You're not at that level yet.
No, but I understand that you're going to be a Kerem B'Yavneh parent in the coming years. Is that correct?
That is correct. Proudly, yes.
It's you have a real privilege and a zechus, and I'll hope that you'll and I know that your son will have as fabulous an experience as I did.
Let me ask you a question. I know you had a lot of choices to pick. What made you decide that Kerem B'Yavneh was the one that you're going to go to?
You know, honestly, I went with an older friend of mine. I was in Israel for a summer after my 8th grade year, and he was starting the yeshiva. We were dropping off some things there, and just something clicked with me there, and I said, I'm going to go here. It wasn't really even ever a question in my mind after that. And many of the people that I looked up to when I was growing up were people that had learned in Kerem B'Yavneh. So that was really that was what decided it for me.
Terrific, and here you're here, and I know I see you on the west side of Manhattan and doing a wonderful job at the Jewish Center, and good that, again, I was excited when I saw that you and your wife are being among the honorees for the Kerem B'Yavneh dinner, so happy to say that, and congratulations on the much-deserved honor.
Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you at many simchas and important occasions.
Thank you, and mazel tov.
Thank you.
Are you in business, a store owner, wholesaler, or manufacturer? Do you know you may be eligible for free television and radio advertising? Millions of dollars are lost every year by businesses not taking advantage of free radio and television advertising. Don't lose out. Advertising is the lifeline of any business, large or small. For free consultation, call us in the New York area 212-769-1925. Out of New York, 866 My TV Show.
Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours with delicious glatt kosher cuisine cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations. Relax at our 7-year running Passover holiday adventure at our Kosher LePesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Breathtaking ocean views, exotic wildlife, inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER, kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
Of course, a lot of alumni from Kerem B'Yavneh here at the Kerem B'Yavneh dinner. David Levy joins us from New Jersey, currently a controller of the company, and good to see you again.
Good evening. Nice to be with you.
When were you in Kerem B'Yavneh?
I was back there in Tavshim and Bet in 1981-82, the year that we had the Nesiga Sinai, the withdrawal from Sinai.
It must have been an exciting time to be there, right?
It definitely was. I mean, Purim time was a time when the changing of the army shifts, and many students were preparing to, the third year was preparing to go back to the army. So we had a big thing, Latzar and Nesiga Kerem, as a takeoff from Latzar and Nesiga Sinai, to stop the withdrawal from Kerem B'Yavneh, which was a takeoff to stop the withdrawal from Sinai.
Wow, how many years were you there?
I was there 1 year.
1 year. And I'm sure it had a tremendous impression. How did it transform you, that 1 year in Kerem B'Yavneh in Israel?
Well, it took a while to get over homesickness. You know, you leave these beautiful United States, but you go to Eretz Yisrael and you find how great and how meaningful Eretz Yisrael is to you and to us. We were talking about the withdrawal from Sinai, and we had many people, or a few friends who went down to Yamit and were there after Pesach during the withdrawal. Of course, this was something that was frowned upon by the yeshiva, because we're in Eretz Yisrael to learn. One of the high points of the yeshiva is the fact that it's off the beaten path. It's not in Yerushalayim, and it gives you the opportunity to learn. It's right next to Kvutzat Yavneh, which is about 15 minutes from Ashdod. So that's due west of Yerushalayim. And you have your time to spend in the yeshiva, to spend in the Beit Midrash. Back when I was there, they had 2 trips during the year, during the Nisan vacation and during the Tishrei vacation. During one of them, we went down to Sinai. And we actually went, and I remember going snorkeling off Sharm el-Sheikh, something that can't be done nowadays. It's very unsafe. And we also went up to the top of the Golan and on the Lebanese border. Things were much safer back then.
But it sounds like you had a marvelous experience that shaped you for life, right?
Definitely. I mean, I was, one thing I remember is on Fridays, when a lot of people, after people kept night Seder, Thursday night, then a lot of people, slept late, but others returned to the Beit Midrash and put in a morning seder before they went on their way, whether to stay in yeshiva or went out to relatives and friends within the country to learn more about Eretz Yisrael.
Because Kerem B'Yavneh is certainly a very serious yeshiva where they take the learning seriously, so people go there are not looking to waste, they're looking to really do something, and that's why the graduates, such as yourself and the others, come out with a very strong commitment, a very solid foundation.
Definitely. In my year, there were various Talmidim who went on to become Magidei Shir in YU, including Rabbi.
I'm sure there's more than one that are Magidei. Anyway, thank you for sharing some of those experiences being with Kerem B'Yavneh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yossi Fishkin is from Bergenfield, New Jersey, also an alumnus of Kerem B'Yavneh. Tell us about your experience. When were you there?
So I was there about 20 years ago. And without a doubt, looking back now, I had a chance now to meet Rabbi Shlomo Friedman, who was my Rebbe my year in Kerem B'Yavneh. And without a doubt, it was the most important year in my entire life in terms of the influence and the impact it had on the way I've carried myself since then.
Well, how did it change you?
It showed me the importance of learning on a steady basis, the importance of finding good chavrusa, just my overall outlook towards so much in life. The friends that I've made during that year had a huge impact on everything, the way I've been thinking really since that year.
It's amazing how many familiar faces, how many people have gone to Kerem B'Yavneh over the year. Barry Gross, we see him over the summer, and we're in Lido Beach also. He's in Lido Beach on occasion during the summertime too. Good to see you. I understand you were alumnus of Kerem B'Yavneh.
Yes, I'm proud to say I was.
When did you go?
I was there from 81 to 83. I was there for 2 years.
For 3 years?
2 years. 2 years and another Elzman, another month, the month before Sukkot.
So what was it like for you? Tell us about your experience.
It was a little bit different from what it is today. I think the creature comforts have increased to become substantially better. They cater more to the student from Chutz La'aretz, from the diaspora. They try to make those students a little more comfortable. I was just speaking to some people inside who were almost complaining to me, describing how their son is in Kerem B'Yavneh right now, and has limited to no connection with the Israelis. And that's because the positive is that they make the Americans so comfortable, but they're a little less integrated than they were when I was there.
I guess sometimes it's hard to balance because those that come from America the first time away from home in Israel and don't speak Hebrew fluently. In fact, I came from the Army base doing a show on the Army bases, and I met American yeshiva students that actually are listed in the Army. They went to schools where they learned Hebrew, and you know what? They went to the Army, the commander tells them instructions, and they do just the opposite because they don't understand it. So I can understand to a certain degree, as much as they speak Hebrew here, when you're in that society, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to be integrated slowly. You can't just go from this country to that country, be absorbed completely.
You're 100% right. There's a huge, big culture shock. You're far away from home. You're in a foreign environment. The food is different. The people are different. I remember the day I got to yeshiva, I got off the plane. It was excruciatingly hot at the end of August in Israel. The yeshiva is located a little bit south of Tel Aviv, outside of Ashdod. And it's very, very hot there. It's hot and humid, and it's uncomfortable. There's no air conditioning today. I think that some of the dorms even have air conditioning. There's no air conditioning. There were no soda machines. That's something that they put in over the last decade or so.
Better not tell Mayor Bloomberg in New York then.
Yeah, so, I remember I got to yeshiva and it was so hot. There were some American Israelis there, and I asked them, I said, can I get some juice or soda? They started laughing at me. Like this green American gets off the boat. They had, this guy has no clue. But, I remember that first day, I got to yeshiva maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I don't think it was before 10 or 11 at night, maybe midnight, till I finally said, you know what, I'm going to be staying here. I better start unpacking my suitcases. So it took, like a half a day just to say, you know what, I'm going to be here for the year.
And how now you were there not 1 year, but you stayed way beyond that. So obviously you liked it well enough to stay beyond that. So what impact did it have on you?
That's a good question that you ask. unlike today where, well, I shouldn't say that, but my experience, I went to a yeshiva high school. I didn't go to a Haredi yeshiva, and my learning experience in high school was, part of the fault is of course my own, but was, I can describe it as somewhat weak. So my background, particularly in Gemara, was somewhat weak when I got to yeshiva. And when I got there, I really took it upon myself to study and learn seriously. And I saw that I had quite a bit of ways to go, to bring myself up to any sort of standard that I thought was a minimal standard that I wanted to achieve. And, it became clear to me that that second year would be very, very important to, to achieve that minimal level where I can go back and, with some level of comfort and learning.
Terrific. So you achieved what you set out to accomplish.
Well, I would say that, to put it very, very bluntly, I feel that Kerem B'Yavneh, to a certain extent, put me on the map, quote unquote, in terms of my, my learning experience. So I really feel, real debt of gratitude. That's why I'm 47 years old. I left yeshiva. I was probably about 18 or 19. And as I look around the room, I'm really one of only a handful of people, maybe even less than a handful, who have come to the dinner, year in, year out, and not because of the honorees, but really because of the connection and the connection I feel with the yeshiva and the debt of gratitude I feel towards the yeshiva. I've missed a couple of years along the way, but I would say over the last 27, 28 years, I've been to the dinner, virtually every single year.
Terrific. Thank you. I'm sure you had a wonderful experience. That's why you keep coming to the dinner. And I think it says something about the institution that 20-some years later, you're still coming to the event. That's marvelous.
It was a wonderful experience, and you're absolutely right. It does say a lot about the institution, about the yeshiva. It's a unique place. Again, I really have very, very strong and positive memories of my time in yeshiva.
Barry Gross, thank you for sharing that. Look forward to seeing you at least our summers together. Thank you. Dr. Jonathan Shiner on my left was honored by Kerem B'Yavneh 3 years ago, and he is here with his boss, the chairman of Staten Island University Hospital, Dr. Mark Radin. Thank you for joining here with us. So good to see all of you have a connection, the Magen Avram connection, the camp.
Magen Avram connection, and now a Kerem B'Yavneh connection with David Hirshhorn. We're really happy to be here. He's a true model of what a Kerem B'Yavneh Bacher is when he comes back to America, and it's really an honor to be here tonight.
No, it's amazing. I met rabbis, met others. I think you're the first doctor I've interviewed so far that's a graduate Kerem. I'm sure there are others too.
There are a bunch of us, but not too many. Lots of lawyers.
Lots of lawyers. Did going to Kerem B'Yavneh have any impact on you becoming a doctor?
Not necessarily a doctor, but just a whole outlook upon how a good Yid, a good person coming back to America, he's supposed to act and comport himself and the things he's supposed to focus on. And that was the tools that the yeshiva gave to us, as we went on in life.
And Dr. Radin, I know that you are here because of your your colleague.
Correct, Dr. Hirshhorn. I personally did not go to Kerem B'Yavneh. I went to a different yeshiva, Shalavim, but having worked with Dr. Hirshhorn, I mean, he's a true, Ben Torah. This is a guy who, despite his long hours, I think he gives Daf Yomi Shurim. He uses his abilities to design websites for, Torah-type situations, and I think he's a true embodiment of Torah Umada, which I think, these KBY guys are solid guys. Talks about Israel, gives Divrei Torah, and this is all within the context of often what's a 10, 12-hour day. I've grown to truly respect the yeshiva through my association with their alumni.
And I say it's just marvelous. I was just saying to some of the other people that we had on the camera tonight, is that in my day, it wasn't fashionable. Very few people went to Israel to learn. Today, it's become,
become the norm.
The norm, which is great to see.
Right.
Well, that's true. You have to go there with purpose. You have to know what you do when you get there. And Kerem B'Yavneh is a great incubator for this, to use medical terminology. It's, it's the yeshiva, the Rabbeim, the environment.
I think the
combination.
Ideology, right.
It's really someplace special.
Good. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Rabbi Mark Volk has been almost 20 years at the helm here in the United States. The American Friends of Kerem B'Yavneh, the yeshiva, the extraordinary yeshiva in Israel, that's been around over 60 years. You have an interesting challenge because an educator, somebody recruits for a high school or yeshiva, they have 8 years or 4 years. You have every year because most kids that go to Israel, most boys that go to Israel go for a year. Sometimes you get for 2 years. So every year you got to go looking around for more students. It must be tremendously challenging for you.
The fact of the matter is, I appreciate the question, Zev. The fact of the matter is that in the context of all that we, thank God, have accomplished throughout the years, is that our alumni base, has grown. Not only the alumni base, but the parent base, and as I would term it, our friend base. So while there certainly is a challenge because there's a turnover every year or two, we have many people at this point that we can turn to and engage, hopefully, for the yeshiva.
What are some of the parents looking for? They come to you and say, Rabbi Volk, I'm considering you, but unlike 60 years ago, you have there's a lot more competition out there today. So what do parents ask for you, and what's the decisive factor for saying, okay, I'm going to go to Kerem B'Yavneh? I'm going to ask the Manish Tana.
Our parents are generally interested in the fact that Kerem B'Yavneh is known, and I say this respectfully, as the Harvard of the Hesder Yeshivot. We were the first one established in 1953 by Rabbi Chaim Yaakov Goldvitz Zatzal. And the level of learning, I'm proud to say, is on a very high level. And most of our Talmidim are self-starters. And the Rebbeim are very nurturing in terms of their promotion of concept of Hesder and the love for Eretz Yisrael. And our parents are also looking for their children to continue in some arena, professional arena, so they can have certainly a good livelihood and a good future.
No, certainly, and I met quite a few alumnus tonight from all of them. Well, a lot of them have been rabbis and educators. I met doctors and lawyers and others that have appreciated the year in Kerem B'Yavneh, which helped mold their lives not just on an intellectual and Judaic level, but also on a personal level. With many friends that were made in the yeshiva are friends to the very day. So long-lasting relationships and friendship, both with teachers and also with students.
We pride ourselves in the development of these relationships, and as it says in Pirkei Avos, one of the 48 ways of acquiring Torah is with this whole idea of cleaving to friends, and it's not just a question of an acquaintance. That with this, as we say, with this connection that we've developed over the course of time, that there's a certain appreciation for all that we've accomplished with each and every person.
Rabbi Volk, thank you for having us here. We look forward to a long association.
Thank you so much.
Kerem B'Yavneh, Rabbi Volk serves as the director here in the United States for almost 20 years. American Friends of Kerem B'Yavneh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I let you go, I might add that I have a vested interest, full disclosure, is that my son Menachem Leib will be attending, God willing, Kerem B'Yavneh. As I mentioned to Rabbi Katz before, he was very impressed with the level of learning and the commitment that they have there. And so I'm looking forward that we'll have a long association, because I was very much impressed from what I heard and what I saw from the yeshiva. And I'm going to have more of an impression when I visit the yeshiva when I'm in Israel. But certainly you seem to be doing something right, getting a lot of the cream the creme of American young Jewish students to come out to Israel.
Thank you so much, Zev, and we look forward to having your son and you and your wife with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back with our very special broadcast about this wonderful Israeli institution right after these messages. Stay tuned.
If you've ever considered hosting your own radio or TV show, then we can help you. Talkline Communications works with individuals and groups interested in broadcasting on radio and TV. Ideal for lawyers, doctors, financial advisors, organizations, or anyone interested in broadcasting. Talkline works with various TV and radio stations in New York and around the country that lease airtime at competitive rates so we can pass on that savings to you. For more information, call us at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925.
I've been on a lot of TV shows, but one of my favorites is Zev Brenner on Talkline. I love this show. I love this network. I love talking about my books, my activities with Zev Brenner. Good questions, good listeners, always get a good response.
Talkline now on throughout the metro area on WRNN Channel 62, Sunday nights at 11 p.m. and Fridays at 1 p.m. For other times, please check your local cable guide or call 1-866-MY-TV-SHOW.
Holly's discovered a secret that could help thousands of other catheter users.
For years, I never realized how different catheter supplies really were. Liberator contacted my doctor and made arrangements for me to try catheters that were easier to use, much more comfortable, all for free. And they helped me qualify for a new sterile catheter every time I needed one. No more reusing. The minute you make the phone call, you're going to see the difference.
Call 1-800-627-2821.
את כל הארץ אשר אתה רואה לך אתנם זהר אחד עולם.
Kerem B'Yavneh has provided me with the ability to, first as a student and then as a teacher, to be involved in Torah, to try to pass on the Masorah to others. It's a great pride to be part of this wonderful institution that's been involved in transmitting Torah to so many hundreds, in fact thousands of students.
Rishus, Moriv Rabbi, Rabbi Willig Shlita, my dear parents, Rabbi Volk, Rabbi Katz, Mr. Klein, Rabbi Teitz, honorees, dinner chairman, parents, dear Talmidim, Kal Kadosh. I thank you so much for your kind words. I feel a little bit bad. I think you people saw enough of me for the last 5 minutes, but what can I do? Before I begin, I feel the need to express something, even if it might seem a little bit out of place. I think I need to take Rabbi Katz to a Din Torah. When Rabbi Katz first approached me around Purim time about coming in for the dinner, I expressed willingness with a stipulation that my capacity would be that of a visiting Ram, rather than any other role. I did not assume that things would take on the proportions that they did. Hence the basis for the Din Torah for breach of contract. More seriously, I thank Kerem B'Yavneh for the great honor, and in the name of the yeshiva and my own name, I thank you all for being here and for your meaningful support. Moreover, I'm very thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shesam Chalkim Yoshvei Beis HaMedrash, and a very special Beis HaMedrash in Makom Torah. I'm also Makir Tova to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for having blessed me with such special, outstanding Rebbeim, among them Rabbi Mordechai Willig, Rabbi David Willig, Rabbi Schechter, just to name a few, who not only teach Torah, but also exemplify Torah in such a remarkable fashion. We are now in the period of the Sfira, the bridge that spans and carries us from Pesach to Shavuot. There are different minhagim with respect to the relative positioning of the Sfira vis-a-vis the recitation of Aleinu. It is recorded in the name of the Gra that one first says Aleinu and then counts the Omer. Our minhag is, of course, to first count and only then say Aleinu. What's at the basis of the different minhagim? Rabbi Soloveitchik was well known for having a great sensitivity for the nuances of Minhagei Yisrael HaKadoshim, suggests, as quoted in Hari Kedem, the following explanation. One could understand the relative positioning of Aleinu in general in one of two ways. One could understand that Aleinu is meant to be recited immediately at the end of the tefillah. Alternatively, the Aleinu is to be said immediately before leaving shul. To elaborate and explain, according to the first approach, Aleinu is to be said immediately upon conclusion of the tefillah. And if this is the case, during the Omer period, one would first conclude the tefillah
with Aleinu, and only then count the Omer. After all, the Omer count is not part of the Tefillah proper. According to the second approach, though, Aleinu's place is not necessarily right after the Tefillah, but rather its place is immediately before leaving shul. The Bach writes, "V'omer Aleinu l'shabeach, litkoa b'lvabeinu, kodem sheniftarim lebatehem, yichud malchus shamayim, v'shiyitchazek b'libeinu, emunah zu, v'chulei nitakena olam b'malchut shaddai." Before we leave shul, we reaffirm, and reinforce the basic concepts which are at the core of our tefillot. Concepts which are meant to stay with us throughout the day. According to this latter approach, it would follow that we first count Sfirah, and then, upon leaving shul, one would recite the Aleinu, as is our practice. What emerges from the insight of the Bach is that our tefillah experience is meant to have a lasting impact, one that will remain long after we've wound our tefillin and folded our talis. Along similar lines, we might say, a serious yeshiva experience is one that remains long after one boards the flight back to the States. It remains after we've left behind the learning basmada, the davening with kavanah, the shiurim, the hotel style, or at least hotel named, dormitories, the super drink, and the mystery meats. A yeshiva experience is forever. Kerem B'Yavneh aspires to help its talmidim not only grow in Torah knowledge, a meaningful goal in and of itself, but also to develop and attain, through an all-encompassing Torah Eretz Yisrael atmosphere, an appreciation of Torah values, one that will be everlasting. I recall that in Tafshin Men, before I left Kerem B'Yavneh after 2 years of study, Rabbi Goldberg, Alav Shalom, gathered us into the Lishka, into his office, with the following parting message. What you need to take with you is a set of mishkafayim yeshivatiyot, yeshiva glasses, the ability to look at the world as a ben Torah and through the prism of Torah. Vince Lombardi of the Green Bay Packers supposedly once said, "Winning is not the most important thing, it is the only thing." At Kerem B'Yavneh we learn that our commitment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to the Torah, to Torah's ideals, throughout our lives, is not the most important thing, it is the only thing. Of course, our Torah needs to be comprehensive and all-encompassing. It needs to include Bein Adam L'Chaveiro and Bein Adam L'Makom. It needs to nurture a concern for Klal Yisrael as well as a concern for every Jew. It needs to be a Torah that recognizes the unique role that every Jew has in Avodas Hashem. It needs to be a Torah that recognizes the centrality of Eretz Yisrael within the Torah Hashkafa, Mr. Obama's opinions notwithstanding, and one that recognizes the special role that Yeshivat Hesder and what it represents can play in modern Israel in our very historic but turbulent times. This all-encompassing Torah is our goal, and this goal is accomplished largely through our commitment to Talmud Torah at the highest possible level. You, the members of the Kahal Kadosh that have gathered here, have indicated through your continued connection with the yeshiva and through your important support for the yeshiva that in fact Aleinu is being said with proper kavanah. You have retained the appreciation of Torah ideals even after leaving yeshiva. In conclusion, a brief tribute to the true guests of honor. In addition to the very special accomplishments of the Richmonds, the Hirschhorns, the Rakowskis, and the Schlafrocks, everyone here is truly a guest of honor, especially the many individuals who've spent countless hours to make this event possible. After all, the pasuk says in Mishlei Chaf Aleph, Rodef tzedakah v'chesed, yimtza chayim tzedakah v'chavod. Through your generosity, through your giving of your very precious time and means, you have been rodef tzedakah. In your kind words and wishes, you've been rodef chesed. And thus you are the ones that are truly deserving of kavod. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu grant you, your families, and all of Klal Yisrael Chaim, tzedakah b'chavod, b'chol berachot shamayim, ad yad kol tzedek, b'meher b'yameinu, amen.
Rabbi Shlomo Friedman from Israel being honored tonight for his work, for his learning, for his education of students, many students at Kerem B'Yavneh. So mazel tov on your honor tonight.
Thank you so much.
I know it came as a complete surprise to you. They told you coming to the United States, and lo and behold, you became the honoree.
Well, not exactly, but it is something which was a surprise. But it is wonderful to be part of such an institution that spreads Torah, in a manner that's appropriate for our day and age. It's the Yeshivat Hesder, in which students, they serve part of the time in the army and part of the time in the yeshiva, and that combination of Torah and serving the army, I think is the type of thing which is very beautiful and can play a very important role in bringing together different parts of Israeli society, something which is so necessary and so important in our day of strife, in our day of divisiveness.
I think it's great and what they're doing. Where today, for example, the Hesder Yeshiva, I just came back from giving out Shalat Mona in the army. We do it every year. We show it on TV. You see the integration of the religious kids in the army at all levels. In fact, I came across an army soldier wearing peyot, and I said, I couldn't believe that in the army. I go, are you a chassid, a disciple of a Hasidic Rebbe? He goes, I'm a chassid. I go, who? He goes, a Rav Kook. And it was just amazing that you see in the army. Now, you have a challenge, because Kerem B'Yavneh, of course, you have Israeli students. You also have a lot of American students, a lot of English-speaking students from around the world. Tell us about some of the challenges you have educating those that are coming for a year, possibly 2 years, coming from high school. Now they're being mature into adults in yeshiva, some of the challenges you face.
Well, certainly the students, when they're away from home, it makes things a little bit difficult for them to get used to the schedule. On the other hand, they're all very mature in the sense that they realize that being in yeshiva for a year or two is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to learn Torah and to grow, and also to learn about themselves, to learn about their religion, about their culture, and to understand who they truly want to be. And we try to bring out those qualities, those midot, that they really already grew up with, those ideals that they've been studying about in school for so many years, and in yeshiva they have the ability to express them, to develop, and to flourish.
No, it's certainly a challenge because you have them for a short period from all over the world, and they're into a new culture, a new land. No Facebook, no Twitter, no internet, right? It's like, in a way, it's a whole new reawakening for them.
Well, the truth is it is a challenge, and the yeshiva always needs to deal with the issue of how or what its policy should be concerning their bringing all that they're used to in terms of their electronic equipment.
Social media.
Yeshiva, right. And the yeshiva does try to strike a proper balance, and I think the students, they understand the restrictions, and generally speaking, they take it in good spirit. Things aren't, generally speaking, forced upon the students. They want to grow. They want to be able to know what the Torah has to say, what the many centuries of wisdom, or what it has to teach us for our day and age. And thank God, that's something that we've been doing for many years, and we hope for many years to come.
60 years, I understand. Not you, but the yeshiva.
I might look like it, but no, I've only been there for 25, 30 years, and with God's help, the yeshiva should continue to carry on that tradition. As you know, Yavneh was the place where the academy was at the time of the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, when he met with the Roman emperor, he told him, Ten Yavneh v'chachameha. He requested that the academy at Yavneh should be able to continue, and thank God we try to see ourselves as carrying on in some shape, manner, or form that great tradition that started so many years ago at Yavneh.
Thank you, and mazel tov again on your much-deserved award.
Thank you.
KBY is like a home to me and to all of the Talmidim here. And we really appreciate everything that they do for us. They take us on Tiyulim, they take us on Friday trips, they give us Shabbatonim. They really provide all the necessities and even some luxuries that we really do appreciate.
Like during downtimes, guys are makbid to be kovei itim, and it's something very, very nice how you can see how a ben tour is not so much when you're in the yeshiva as well, inside and outside as well.
We pledge to preserve their memory. For over 50 years, Yad Vashem has collected millions of Holocaust victims' names, but many are still missing. The central database of Shoah victims' names is now on the internet. This is a race against time. Visit the site today and submit unrecorded names so they will always be remembered.
Kosher Expeditions provides unique activity-based tour vacations with delicious glatt kosher cuisine, cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations, including Costa Rica, the Canadian Rockies, Spain, and African safari. Relax at our 7-year-running Passover holiday adventure located at our Kosher LePesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Enjoy breathtaking ocean views surrounded by exotic wildlife on an all-inclusive Pesach vacation that includes inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours, offering all-inclusive travel programs to custom and private groups, students, camps, young adults, and regularly scheduled departures. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER or visit them online at kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
Ow! Can you read my number? Attention those on Medicare with diabetes. You may be eligible for an upgraded meter.
I am tired of stabbing my fingertips to test my blood glucose. There has got to be a better way.
If you're on Medicare with diabetes, then you need to know there's a new method for checking your blood glucose. You don't need to stab your fingertips anymore. This new Embrace meter is easier to use and nearly painless. And the best news is that Diabetes Care Club will send you one of these new meters.
This new method hurts less, and I don't have to stab my fingertips anymore.
Not only can I see my number, I can hear it too.
Your blood glucose reading is 89.
There's my number.
Find out why nearly 250,000 patients have joined Diabetes Care Club.
Call Diabetes Care Club.
Shipping is free, and so is the call.
Call 1-800-934-4326. Call now.
I'm glad I did.
We hope you've enjoyed our very special broadcast originating from the 41st Annual Kerem B'Yavneh Yeshiva Dinner in New York City. Kerem B'Yavneh is a wonderful yeshiva in Israel which has many American foreign students as well as Israeli students, and giving them a chance to grow both intellectually and Judaically in the Holy Land of Israel. For more information about this wonderful organization, Yeshiva Kerem B'Yavneh, please contact them at the address and phone number you see on screen. Thanks once again for watching. Please join us again next week, same time, same station here on the Talkline Communications Network. I'm Zev Brenner. Shalom.
את כל הארץ אשר אתה רואה, לך את